Well, the United States is officially at war with Iran. Just a few hours ago tonight, Donald Trump officially and unilaterally bombed Iran with U.S. military forces. And he just wrapped up a brief but painfully awkward address to the nation trying to explain why. His actions constitute a major violation of his campaign promises to start no new wars on his watch, and they have earned him bipartisan backlash from members of Congress for his failure to consult Congress before doing this. And Iran is now threatening every American in the region. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we're going to watch Donald Trump's address to the nation. It's about 6 minutes long. Bear with me.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So that was it. That was Donald Trump's address to the nation. You could see it was painfully awkward. He stumbled over his words. He awkwardly thanked God, a God he doesn't believe in. J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth were looking at him rather strangely. This is it. This is what we have. So let's take a look on this. Okay. Trump warns of more attacks after bombing key nuclear sites. Strikes on 3 sites, including Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear installation, injected the U.S. directly into Israel's war. Here are the latest developments. The United States has entered Israel's war against Iran. American warplanes dropped bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, bringing the U.S. military directly into the war after days of uncertainty about whether Trump would intervene. Quote, all planes are safely on their way home, end quote, Trump said in a post announcing the attacks on social media, adding that a full payload of bombs had been dropped on Fordo, the heavily fortified underground facility in Iran that is critical to its nuclear program. Trump said American bombers had hit Iran's 2 major uranium enrichment centers, the mountain facility at Fordo and a larger enrichment plant at Natanz, which Israel struck several days ago with smaller weapons. A third site near the ancient city of Isfahan, where Iran is believed to keep near bomb-grade uranium, was also bombed. Iranian officials confirmed that the 3 sites had been attacked, including a spokesman for the Emergency Committee of Qom, a city near Fordo, who said that the enemy forces had bombed, quote, parts of the Fordo nuclear facility, according to the Tasman news agency, which is affiliated with the Revolutionary Guards. 3 Iranian officials said that Fordo and Natanz had been bombed around 2:30 a.m. local time on Sunday. Iran, which has refrained so far from direct attacks on U.S. troops and interests in the Middle East, has warned that American entry into the war would bring retaliation, raising fears around the region about the danger of a widening war. But what form that response would take is unclear. Analysts have also speculated that Iran could react by attacking U.S. troops in the region or by accelerating its nuclear program, assuming the program survives U.S. bombings. After a week of mixed signals, Trump, who has long vowed to steer America clear of overseas, quote, forever wars, authorized U.S. forces to strike Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear installation deep underground. The goal, American and Israeli officials have said, is to prevent Iran from building a nuclear bomb. So, after the U.S. strikes, Netanyahu praised Trump in a video statement, saying he, quote, acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. What's next? Now that Trump has sent American bombers to help Israel destroy a uranium enrichment facility in Iran, it will most likely initiate a more dangerous phase in the war. Here are some ways that could play out, and a look at how the U.S. military's powerful bunker-busting bombs work. I'll also point out, let's see if there are more updates here. The Atomic Energy Organization of Iran issued a statement confirming that Iran's 3 nuclear sites, quote, were attacked in a violent act against international laws, including the Non-Proliferation Treaty, by the enemies of Islamic Iran. The agency said it would take legal action against the U.S. in international courts and that Iran's nuclear program would continue. Let's see one new update. The NASA Fire Information System detected a significant heat-generating event near the Fordo nuclear enrichment facility, with one detection about 30 minutes before Trump announced the U.S. strikes. Often areas that are bombed or produce significant heat, such as from lasting fires, are detected. Let's see here. We'll get to the backlash in just a second, but the Times of Israel is reporting that commentator on Iran state TV says every U.S. citizen and soldier in a region is a legitimate target after U.S. strike. So seems to be that at least commentators in Iran are calling for Iran to attack any American, soldier or civilian, who happen to be in the region, which would be a very dangerous escalation. And God knows what that would entail. As I mentioned in my intro, Donald Trump is now also facing bipartisan backlash in Congress because of this decision, as Axios is noting. While most congressional Republicans and some pro-Israel Democrats are praising Trump's strike on Iranian nuclear facilities, pockets of opposition are already emerging in both parties. The objections center on the argument that Trump needed congressional authorization for such a provocative use of military force, with one House Democrat pushing for a vote to restrict further unilateral action. Quote, we need to immediately return to D.C. and vote on Thomas Massey's and my war power resolution to prevent America from being dragged into another endless Middle East war, said Representative Ro Khanna of California. Massey, a libertarian who often breaks with Trump, said in a post on X reacting to the strikes, quote, this is not constitutional. Let's see. State of play, Khanna and Massey, along with Senator Tim Kaine, had been trying to build bipartisan support in both chambers of Congress for their war power measures in the days leading up to the strikes. There's little appetite among the ruling Republicans, outside of a handful of right-wingers, to be in direct conflict with Trump on the issue. Both Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson publicly backed the strikes on Saturday night. The position that Trump's strikes were constitutionally unsanctioned is more mainstream with Democrats, including House Intelligence Committee ranking member Jim Himes. Himes called the strikes, quote, a clear violation of the Constitution in a statement, adding, quote, we also don't know if this will lead to further escalation in the region and attacks against our forces. Quote, I'm continuing to closely monitor the situation and demand answers from the administration. Kaine posted on Saturday that he will, quote, push for all senators to vote on whether they are up for this third idiotic war in the Middle East. I'll also note at the time of recording that Marjorie Taylor Greene is publicly reacting to this. She's not condemning Trump yet, but she says, pray that, quote, we are not attacked by terrorists at home. Quote, let us pray that we are not attacked by terrorists on our homeland after our border was open for the last 4 years and over 2 million gotaways came in. Let us pray for peace. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says she's a principled dove and that she opposes any sort of foreign entanglements, foreign wars, her cult leader has now violated his campaign promises and done just that, and she still can't find the spine to criticize him, so she's taking a roundabout shot at President Biden and the Democrats. So I don't know how much meaningful bipartisan opposition this will manifest itself. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul are probably two people who are outspoken critics of this on the Republican side, but I imagine to whatever extent that these Republicans fear a third Middle East war, they probably fear Donald Trump and the political implications of defying him even more. So there we are. Obviously, we have no idea what the hell is going to happen. Iran has taken a pounding by Israel these past several days, but we have seen in previous wars over the past 20 to 30 years that regimes that are not as conventionally militarily powerful as the United States, like Afghanistan and Iraq, right, that they can still pose formidable threats in terms of guerrilla warfare and terrorist strikes with respect to retaliation. So I don't think that this is, open and shut. Trump himself seemed to be open to the notion that Iran might try to retaliate, and he, in that speech, said that there would be retaliation by the United States if they don't immediately, unconditionally surrender. So I don't know what happens from here on out, but this is breaking news. We are officially at war with Iran. Donald Trump took unilateral military direct action against Iran, and we're now about to deal with the fallout, whatever that may be. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.